Hey everyone, today we are out in the simulator checking out this brand new 3-in-1 hitting strip from Lidars. Now they were nice enough to send this to me so I can give you guys my first thoughts, show you exactly what you're going to get if you purchase this item, and we'll go ahead and even do a little demonstration on how this works. So let's go ahead, go back inside, and I'm going to show you guys exactly what you're going to get out of the box if you purchase this item, and then we'll be right back. See you then. Alright, so let's talk about what you're actually going to get inside this box. This hitting strip comes with 3 different mats. One of them is a club path indicator, one that's a rough patch with a little bit higher turf, and one that simulates the fairway with 2 holes for rubber tees, and they even throw in 5 foam practice balls. Alright, we're back. Let's go ahead and jump into my first thoughts about this product and the different pieces that you're going to get. No better place to start than the actual base. Now, this base is a very heavy duty rubber, almost reminds me of like a horse stall mat. This thing has a lot more weight to it than hitting mats that I've used in the past. It also has a non-slip design, which we are going to check out in a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and move my mat, and we're going to put that to the test. And you can also see that there are a couple holes at the top of this mat, and that's where we're going to be able to put some rubber tees to tee the ball up and hit the driver. Now, in the middle of this mat, there's a recessed portion. That's what's going to hold all of our 3 hitting strips in and what makes it replaceable. So we can just take one off, throw the other one on here, and be good to go. So let's go ahead and grab one of these pieces and see how this works. Now right here, I have our longest of our 3 turf options. This is supposed to simulate your rough. You can actually see that the turf is about an inch, maybe even an inch and a half high. So you have a lot to work with. And all we have to do to put this in here is line up our corners and push it down. And this Velcro is really strong. It holds really well. I'll go ahead and put this in and I'll give you guys a look at what that looks like. So I've got all 4 corners lined up. I'm going to go ahead and push this down on the Velcro. That way it has a nice strong hold, and I can hold this right in the middle and it's not going anywhere. So the Velcro here, it does hold it in place really nice. And like I said, this rough, nice and high. Now one thing I definitely want to bring up with this rough patch is how plush and dense it is. Sometimes with some turfs, it's kind of loose, kind of flimsy. This one is definitely not like that. It's very heavy, very well packed. Definitely thumbs up there. Let's go ahead and look at the next piece. Now next we have the club feedback mat. This is probably my favorite part of this product. It's definitely a tool to help you get better at golf. So you can see on this mat, we have some different lines, and what these actually indicate and what they're supposed to help you with is club path. We'll get into this later in the demonstration, but basically you have your in to out swing, your out to in swing, and your neutral swing. And this is going to show you exactly the path that your club is on. If you want to work on hitting a draw, you have to get in to out. If you want to work on hitting a cut, you have to get out to in. And it's also going to show you where your impact is. We want to be ball first. So if you're contacting the mat back behind the ball, we need to get that contact a little bit further up. Now how that actually works is it's made out of a suede microfiber-like material. You can see if I run my hand this way, nothing happens. But if I run against the grain, I can see exactly where my hand traveled. That's what we're going to be able to see with our club path when our club makes contact with the actual mat. Now we have one more mat to get into. I'm going to go ahead and pop this mat off. I'm going to grab the tees and I'm going to show you guys how the actual fairway turf works. Alright, so like you guys saw in the unboxing, we're actually going to get 2 tees with this hitting mat. One of them is just a standard height, and then the other one is a rubber tee like you'd see at the driving range that actually accepts a tee. So if the first one isn't the best height for you, where you like to tee up your ball, you have this one where you can use a regular tee and go ahead and put it exactly where you want to. Now this one takes a couple seconds longer to get on because you actually have to work your tees through. Now this one is definitely not as lush as the rough. You can see it's a little thinner. I would say this is definitely a pretty typical turf for a fairway mat. Now last but not least, we have our practice balls. Now these definitely run on the denser side when it comes to golf foam practice balls. They're not super squishy, but you can definitely, they're nice and light. So they're gonna give you a limited flight, but they are gonna go a decent distance. We'll check these out in the simulator. I'll kind of tell you how they feel and how fast they come off the club. But nice for chipping inside the house, which I'm actually really excited about using this mat for. Inside, kind of chipping into one of my practice nets, just getting some swings in on the days that I can't get out to the simulator, and these definitely will be perfect for that. So now that we went through all of that, let's go ahead and hit some balls. I'm gonna go ahead and actually move my hitting mat so that we are just putting this mat straight onto some foam. On this mat, I'll probably slide around a little bit, and I want to really test out that anti-slip action. So let me go ahead and move that, and we'll get into it. So I have my hitting mat moved. I went ahead and put the Lidars mat on here. I'm gonna go ahead, hit a couple balls with the fairway mat and the rough mat. Then I'll put the club path mat on and kind of give you guys an idea of how that works.
All right, so here I am hitting a couple shots off the fairway and the rough, mat. You can see it doesn't really move much, just like it says. Maybe a little bit more with the rough, but that's just because it was grabbing the club a little bit. All in all, felt really good to hit off of. Now moving on to the club path, mat. You can see in this first swing that I made really good contact. You can see the mark doesn't start right until the ball, which is exactly how you want it to be. And then it goes into neutral path following that middle line down. So this first one, good example of a good middle strike. Now, all you have to do to get rid of the mark is just to use your club and brush the mat backwards. I would even say that the camera doesn't really do it justice on how well you can see it from above. I think it was the lighting. On this second shot, you can see that I was definitely way behind the ball, kind of on an outward path. So this would definitely have resulted in a fat shot. And then I wanted to hit one just without a ball, just to show you that you don't really need a ball. This definitely would have been very toey. As you can see, I was very inside the ball.
All right, so we've tested it out. It's time to give my final thoughts, and I've got to say, I think this is a really good product. You're getting 3 hitting mats that you can interchange with the same base. We just saw the base doesn't slide around too much. You can use it indoors, you can use it outdoors. You're getting some tees and you're getting some practice balls. This thing's just really versatile and it has so many uses. As somebody who has a simulator, I'm still gonna get plenty of use out of this. I'll definitely have this thing inside, chipping around into my net. And when the weather gets better outside, I'm definitely gonna have this thing out in the yard so I'm not putting divots all over the grass. The only real criticism that I can give to this mat is that after hitting 30 or 40 balls, I did have a little bit of nylon on the bottom of my club, but it wiped right off. It wasn't something that I had to scrub off. But really guys, that's it. So to wrap things up, this mat does everything that it says it's gonna be able to do. If I ordered this myself, I'd be happy with the purchase, and it's definitely something I could see myself recommending to a friend. So if you're looking for a hitting mat, I definitely check this one out.